Hey, trader friend, welcome to the Mind Style Forex podcast. I'm Destiny, a funded trader and the host of this podcast. Today I have with me.
Hi guys, it's Anne Phillips here from Music Mind and Wellbeing. I am a mindset coach. And you know what? It's a privilege to be here alongside Destiny. Got some great things in store for you. Over to you, Destiny.
We have indeed got some amazing conversations in store for you. I'm really excited because these are conversations that I wish I heard during my journey. It's been a few years now since I've been trading, and my goodness, the ups and downs. Listen, I feel you. I've been there. So that's why I decided to start this, because I really, really wanted it to be a space where we can talk about mindset in trading, popularly known as trading psychology. We hear the words trading psychology, trading psychology. Well, here we will demystify it. We're going to talk about the mind, we're going to talk about our emotions, just the makeup, the human makeup, because to really succeed in this game, you have to know yourself. And this is what this podcast is about. So I'm very excited to have you listen in. Thank you for showing up. And I wish you would just press that button to follow us so that we can grow on this journey. And as you listen, if you find any clip or any point helpful, share. I'm new to this, so I'm hoping that you, trader friend, will help me grow in this space. I love that you're here with us.
Okay, so we were concluding the emotional mind with the pendulum. But you know what? There's some tips and action points I actually want to start this part 2 emotional mind off with. And that's the success of the emotional mind. But at the same time, when I'm going through all of this, I want you to think of an example where you could have, or maybe already have used this to be able to help those other traders out there. Mm-hmm. So one, you've already defined your goal, right? So you're using the strategy and the plan that you have, right?
Yeah.
The next thing that you need to do is be that consistent trader. So in your mindset, you're consistently doing something every single day that's going to get you towards that goal, whether you're learning or whether you're actually physically training. But then when you've consistently done that, that's going to help you to increase your confidence. It's going to cause you to grow, and then you're just going to be more confident, so that no matter what comes along, you have that confident air. But the cycle really is capped off with visualization. Visualize where you want to go with where you are now so you can bridge the gap. But at the same time, bridge and think about, because the mind doesn't know what's real and what's not real, think about the losses. Think about the in-betweens and think about the wins. Visualize yourself there. So when that loss occurs, it's a case of it doesn't hurt you in the way that you thought it was going to.
Yeah.
So for you, is there any example of that kind of strategy that you've used before to get you through?
So it sounds to me like, sometimes when people say, oh, you're very confident, I think many times we forget that confidence also comes from competence.
Yes.
So if you're doing it every day, you're learning, you're growing, you are growing in confidence as well. I love a post that says confidence is an inside job.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So in terms of trading examples, gosh, like at this point in my trading life, every trade I take, I must analyze. And as I'm analyzing, I'm visualizing, okay, if it goes my way, this is what it will look like. If it doesn't go my way, this is what it will look like. And before I go in, I have to be okay with the amount I want to lose. I'm ready to risk, right? Risk meaning I might lose that money. And I'm okay with it because I've played it time and time again in my mind. Now, as I'm playing it in my mind, of course, I'm looking at how I am emotionally as well.
Absolutely.
Do you see what
Because
I
the thing
mean?
is, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You've had that external stimulus come in. So
Yes.
all of a sudden you're like, what's this? You might be hyper, you might be a little bit angry because the market's not moving the way that you want it to, but you've had that stimulus come in. It's not in that moment that you need to take an action. It is you allow yourself to process, because there's a part of your brain, the hypothalamus, that needs to move it into the memory area. And then as it goes forward, you start to process it in the rational mind. Also, there's also another cycle, right?
Okay,
Now,
which one's that?
our emotional brain will go through a cycle of change, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of definitions for this, all sorts of names, because if you apply it to an office and that kind of work environment, etc., you move from the uninformed optimistic right at the beginning of where you are. Oh, I know what we need to do. I know how we're going to do it. But you're uninformed. That's the first box.
How do you know?
We all know. How did we do this? How did we do the podcast? How did we get to where we want to be? Then we get to the informed optimism. Yeah, I know how to do that. But what if? And the self-doubt starts creeping in. Right. The self-doubt creeps in to the place of, why me? I'm not sure if I can do this. So you're ending up in the region of no hope, right? Because you've got to the bottom point. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can move on. However, here's an example of something that when you get to the bottom. I was coming home, right? And you said to me a little earlier, oh, Anne, are you okay? I am. Because something happened earlier. I'd shown a friend where the station was, and as I went to turn, I tripped over one of those manhole covers. It was slightly raised, and I fell straight forward down. But I did my hands like this, bam! I hit my chest, the whole of my body, bam, to the floor, but protected my face. I was at the bottom. I hit traffic everywhere. I'm just thinking everybody's seen me. But you know what was really amazing? Because of how I've been pushing with the fitness level, the hands went down. I instantly jumped up, felt the grip, brushed it off, brushed my coat off and everything, went home, washed myself and freshened myself up. At the bottom point. Why me? Oh my gosh, I fell over. That's the point we get to. No hope. Oh my gosh, the bottom. But then you can use that catalyst of you got to the bottom, and guess where you go? Informed.
Or only upward. Yeah.
Exactly.
Only
Upward.
that's the only place you can go.
You go to informed optimism, upwards. You start going to, I know my stuff. I'm confident about this. I can do this. I can be diligent. I can be confident. I can do this. There's only one other plateau after that. Success, actualization, and winning. Continue. However, let me just use this word, don't get cocky about it, right? Because truly that cycle,
that's dangerous.
That is really dangerous, because that cycle is going to happen again in another arena. You've got thus far, and then you're going to be uninformed optimism. Then you're going to be in this informed optimism, and then you're going to be in the low point, and then you're going to be in the informed optimism, and then back to the success. This continual cycle of fall, rise. But you're not falling to the level you fell before. It's just a lesson. Yeah. So when you look at the cliff, right? It's really high. I'm imagining myself up there, right? You fell at the first little bit. Let's call it 100 meters. So you climbed it, fell. Then you went back up. Then you fell at the 200, but you only fell the 50 meters down. So you're at 150. Then you got back up, and you keep doing that until you get to the precipice, until you get to the top of where you're going. If you do not want to push, you're not going to get through the emotional struggles, because that uninformed optimism of, you know what, let me just put it this way. Some people like to say uninformed optimism reminds them of the honeymoon period. Oh, this is great. This is wonderful. I can do anything. This is, yeah. Then you're like, wow, whew, I didn't realize it was going to be like this. This is work.
Yeah.
Then you get to the, why me? I don't know if I'm built for this. Then you get the information and you move forward, and success happens. You catch the success train, it takes your emotions, and you start to move. But you have got to be prepared to, we had this conversation, I think it was a couple of days ago, you know, the draw the line in the sand conversation. You have to be, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we just go back? Can we just talk about that again, just for people who obviously didn't have the privilege of our private conversation? So we were talking about, should I give a brief?
Yeah, just give a general.
So we were just talking about, so because I have been through some personal drama. When I say drama, so we were talking about that kind of situation, you know, having been through life. And at some point, you just have to draw the line and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of this. This, you know what I mean? You just have, and to me, that's the point where you make a decision. Because if you don't decide that you're going to win, you will not get there. You have to decide, this is what I'm going for.
Yep.
And you just keep pushing, keep pushing. Keep pushing. There's a book I'm reading at the moment about focus, and she really breaks down, the author really breaks down focus, and it's a really, really good book, because I think after the point of decision, you have to set some boundaries around you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, some clear, this is what I'm doing, and once you decide on what you're doing, you automatically know what you're not doing.
That is the one.
Isn't
that
it?
Is the one, yes. Because one of the things
that's clear.
No, I was just going to say, literally, it's like what we do. We set a clear, after some debating, we set a clear boundary for the day and the time that we're coming together. And that's it. Anybody else wants to do anything during this time, it's a no, because we know that what we want to achieve. We know where we're going and what we want to do.
Exactly. And so the journey looks different for everybody. For me right now, I'm studying this focus book because it really does take focus. You have to be so clear and so, what's the word? Unemotionally
attached. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people struggle with this, actually. And you know what the fantastic thing is about this podcast? I love it because the things we talk about not only help you in trading, they also help you in life. If your mind is not, trust me, like wherever you go, there you are. Your mind is right there with you. So the more you understand the makeup of the mind, this is just like basic human psychology.
It absolutely, but most people don't.
You stand out amongst your peers. Sorry, go on.
Absolutely. Most people don't, because most people don't take the time, you see, to actually even understand themselves. When there is something that, one of the things, let me just tell you, you can program your mind by doing one thing every single day. Look in the mirror. Do you accept who you are in that mirror? And I'm not just talking the physical you. There's a mental projection. Some people can't look in the mirror for a long time. Stare at yourself for a whole 60 seconds. And literally, are you able to stare? Like if I'm staring straight and saying, you know what, I actually like your hair colour. You know, your eyes are amazing. Have you seen your cheeks? Wow, you've got one everlasting smile. Girl, your complexion. Hello. Some people can't do that. They cannot. They're like, I need to change this. I need to just think about, oh gosh, you know what? There's a lot going on here. Oh, you know, and all they can do is critique themselves. But can you stare in that mirror for the 60 seconds and actually reprogram your brain to...
When you start learning something new, mistakes are normal. It's pardonable because, of course, it's new. It's something you haven't done before. When you keep making the same mistakes, we might have to come and get you to safety because you're no longer new. How long does it take for a child to learn how to walk? Every child is different, right? In that same vein, every Forex trader is different. Now, to fast track your learning process, I've made a video that talks about the 7 biggest mistakes that Forex traders make. Check out the video in the link below. And let's get back to this discussion.
Accept who you are. I love some me. I love me because there's no one else like me on this planet. So, you know, we said about
That's
making a
pretty
choice.
amazing.
Draw the sand right there when you look in the mirror and make that choice. I'm going to love me no matter what. I'm going to have confidence in me, right? Yes, there's emotions attached to that. But are you going to stay in the negative bias or are you going to go towards the positive bias? Your brain is constantly in the negative bias, looking for all the negatives. Oh, wow, nose, cheeks, chin, whatever, right? But what's on the flip side of that? What's the positive about that? You know, there's so much. I'm like, wow, no one's got this nose, no one's got these cheeks, no one's got this chin. You know, again, turn it in to the positive bias. Because really and truly, your body is going to release the neurotransmitters, as in the hormones, you know, the dopamine, serotonin, etc. Right? We're talking now, and we're bonding with oxytocin. We're actually bonding, right, in a way. And it's those people who are watching us. They're getting a hit of certain neurotransmitters. They're connecting. You're feeling good about yourself because you're receiving that. But are you receiving that, or are you going to go away from here? And it's not going to feel right. Are you going to allow yourself to come back into the negative bias, or are you going to come forward into the positive bias? That's your choice. We all have the power of choice. And it's up to us. So I know we're talking about trading in this moment. You can reprogram yourself right there in that moment of trading. Stop, visualize. Who am I? You know, I am that successful, confident, amazing person who can get these things done. Right, you've done that. Now bring it into your real world.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I first started, I didn't think these things were a big deal. But the more I hang around people who are successfully trading and really making a difference, I think, wow, their self-talk is different from mine. Do you know what I mean? Like, like when you meet a successful person, the way they think and the way they execute is different from the average person. It
Completely
really is.
different.
And so I used to think, so these are the things that I have to change. And I wish somebody had clearly said to me, this matters, that matters, this matters, these are things that you should deal with. Do you understand? Even something
Absolutely.
as simple as think about what you're thinking about.
There it is. Because
Because
you're going
many
into
times
a
we're so
negative
on
bias. Mm-hmm.
yeah. We're on autopilot and we're so
Yep.
programmed for negativity
Yep.
that we don't even realize we're there and we're right there. So the effort that it takes to move from that negativity all the way to, at least even being neutral, then being positive.
Thank
It
you.
takes effort, but it's worth it because it will affect your results. It really will. Because here's the thing, if you're not somebody who respects yourself and loves
Mm.
yourself, are
Mm.
you going to listen to yourself?
That's the
Chances
whole
are no.
point.
You
You're
won't
not, and
because
you're going to continually be at the down point. You're never going to want to even though you could be surrounded by some really great and successful people, but you're constantly going to put yourself down, or you're going to end up
down.
in the place of imposter syndrome. Why am I in this room?
Oh,
I don't get it. I'm just like, and
telling you.
there are managers
Sorry,
out
I
there.
couldn't help it. It's so good.
No, it's fine. It's
Sorry.
exactly what it's. There are managers out there, and they're like managing teams, and it's like they're like, yeah, but I don't know if. What do you mean? You got there because of something that you are doing or have done.
Mm,
Now just grow on
mm,
that. I'm, we when we went out and with the couple that were there, and I remember when they were saying where they lived, and I said, anytime you want an independent broker, come to me. I'll get 3 times that for your property. And she says, oh, do you do real estate? And I said, no. I just have the confidence of owning properties before, and I know I can sell your property and I could sell it for a lot of money. And she said, oh, yeah, you're really confident about that. I said, it's just the confidence I have in me, the confidence I have to
mm.
generate an income, the confidence that I have to shift somebody else's mind, to be able to move them from just saying, I am just. You're not just. You're absolutely unique. You do not have the same fingerprints as me.
Yeah,
Actually, you don't have the same fingerprints as
that
anybody
part.
in this world. Really, let our emotions, I am not saying to anybody, do not feel your emotions. Feel them, experience them,
Mm,
go through them, identify them, know what triggers them, know what makes you feel good, what you need to stay away from, all of those kind of things. And then once you really know that and you're doing that work, oh, you'll start to become a different you. And those that liked the version of you that like to hang around in negative bias and stay at the bottom of the pit because they can see you
they have
using
to
the
go.
dirt that let's put it this way, right? Here's an old fable, right? And it's, get into your mind on this one, right? So the only people who start at the top and work their way down are grave diggers.
Yeah, heard that
Right.
one before.
They start at the top and they work their way down. So if someone had fallen into a pit, a grave, a low point, and there was somebody up at the top and there was no rope, no help or anything like that around, I would be saying to the
Mm,
person, kick the dirt down, because the very same dirt they used to dig the pit, the hole, can become the very same leveraging point you use to climb out. You stand on the dirt that's coming in. So what am I trying to say?
mm.
Those emotions that were triggered by negative bias or triggered in the wrong way, you can use them when you understand them to go higher to the next levels and keep on going. But you're going to have to take the
I agree.
time to do the points that I've talked about. And I really do hope this really helps a lot of the traders that are out there. as well as like, drawing other people to come and get some life nuggets from us. If you want some more information, all of it is lower in the box down there for you. Go to my website, mindset courses, books, everything. It's out there for you. Destiny, it's always a pleasure to be here. You want to wrap it up, my love? Do you have anything to say on that?
What can I add, Anne? You've taken us through some gems. I just want to add, I mean, it's crazy how it's just like the more I grow, just in life in general, it's insane how many just thinking about the things that make a difference, you know what I mean? Like understanding yourself, know thyself, understanding your emotions, the place they have, understanding your self-talk, how many times we stop ourselves from success because of what we say to ourselves.
So important.
There are things that seem small, but they make a massive difference. And the thing is, it's not something that you can post online
and just have it sit there.
You can't.
Because you can only say phrases.
Sorry, say that again.
If you post it online, you can only say phrases. What you think matters. As a man thinks, so is he. What you say to yourself matters. If you're speaking negative, you will speak out negative. Who you surround yourself with matters. You need to hear all this and do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key part. Do something about it, because some people hear these things and just say, well, that's the way I am. That's the way I am. Well, and I love that you said in the beginning of this, you said how our minds are malleable. Do you know what I mean? Which means your life can change. Your life does not have to stay the same. If you look at yourself in the mirror for those 60 seconds and you're not happy with what you see, you're not happy with the results you're getting, have in mind that you can change it.
Absolutely.
You can change it. You have the power to change it. I'm going to stop talking because I don't want to be repeating what Anne has already said. But thank you for listening to us. Yeah, because you already said it. So
it's go away and do something about it and post. Let us know if you're doing the 60 seconds. Let us know if you're working through any of the challenges and saying like, you're working through that cycle of change. Let us know what you're.
Thank you for listening till the end, Trader Friend. Join us again next week for another amazing conversation.